What's going on there, YouTube? I am back once again. Happy to be back. It's been about 3 months now since I did my last video, so I apologize for the delay. I've just been really busy, with the family and work, of course. But since I promised you all that I'll be showcasing my first ever 2650 box mod, and that's what I'm gonna do tonight. Once again, I apologize for the big delay, for my last video. But let's just get started. The main difference that you'll see is going to be the box itself. The internals is pretty similar to what I've been doing, other than some materials inside. But as far as the wiring, the hardwares, other than a couple things, will be similar. Like I said, let's just get started. So here it is, fellas. As you can see, it's different. Basically, it's a combination of a Hammond box mod and a wood box mod. Like I said, I wanted to do something different for my next build, which I did right here. It's got a wood back and a wood door. As far as the wood itself, I used Wenge. This is a hardwood from Africa. I purchased this from rockler.com. This came in a 1/4 inch by 3 inches wide and 24 inches in length. But you can, they also have different dimensions as far as, for this wood and other wood materials, wood type. But I chose this because of the, I really like the grain pattern and also the color. I wanted something dark. This is kind of like a dark brown, chocolate, what they call it. But it's a really hard wood. It's pretty dense. And it's pretty freaking hard. But for that dimension that I mentioned, it cost me $12.99 plus shipping. I remember the shipping. It's probably like $5 or $6. So I still have a few extra laying around somewhere. But this is what it actually looks like right here, unfinished. It's really nice. But yeah, as far as the build itself, that was probably the hardest part of this build, was the wooden pieces, because I had to do a lot of cutting, routing to make it fit in the Hammond box mod, or the Hammond box, not the box mod. But so once again, this is the back. Actually, if you have a, I made this the back so I can screw this wood piece, and then I cut out the back of the Hammond box mod for the door. So basically, I just drilled some holes, put some magnets in there, and put some magnets on the door, and voila. And I used a Veritube 510, the 22mm diameter. I think now I prefer this over the Fat Daddy Vapes because of the lower profile. Plus, it's one piece instead of the two. Because I'm not sure. I haven't really looked up the new versions of Fat Daddy Vapes, but I guess I just prefer this, so I used it. And also for the switch, I used a tactile switch. I like this better than the regular push button, plus I just like the feel of it. Again, just my preference. Plus it looks cleaner. And let's look at the inside. Again, this is the door right here. Now, like I said, I had to do a lot of routing to make it look like the actual Hammond box door or lid. And I also had to route some materials from the inside because the battery does stick up a little bit, so just to make sure it fits flush on there. And I extended this all the way down, so you can see there, for battery venting. So see the openings down there? You know, again, just something I did. Is it really necessary? Sure, why not? But I did it anyway. Because, you know, if you have a Hammond box mod, there's, unless you drill some holes to it for battery venting. But for this, since I was already making my own door, you know, I decided to do that. So that's the door. And this is what the inside looks like. It's a Vape 3D battery sled. I even opted to put my YouTube name on there, ALUSAF. I think it looks pretty cool. So like I said, as far as the internals, pretty similar to what I've been doing with the bare copper wire look. Just my again, preference as far as doing my builds. I know there are a few of you that had concerns when it comes to the bare wires. I never really had any issues with it. Like I said, you know, I've answered a few of your questions. As long as none of the wires are touching each other or touching the box, you'll be fine. Actually, the only part of the wiring that should be in direct or directly touching the box is the wire that goes to the negative part of the 510. So you can see down there, that should be the only one, nothing else. So if you're wiring it, just make sure, and you are going to be using bare wires, bare solid copper wires, don't have the other ones touching the box, because it's probably not going to fire properly, or it's going to cause a short. But once again, the only wire that should be directly touching the box is the one that goes to the negative part of the 510. Only one. So other than the battery sled, a couple more things that I kind of did differently with this box mod is I added a heat sink for the MOSFETs. Like I said MOSFETs because I will go into that later. Basically, I just used a heat sink that I have laying around here. This is for a CPU or a GPU, whatever. You know, I've done some computer builds in the past, so I have spare parts laying around, and I just cut a small piece to fit the top of the MOSFET, and I used JB Weld to secure it. You can see there. And like I said, I used MOSFETs because I used two of them. They're wired in parallel. You know, I've read on a couple of forums about using two MOSFETs to even reduce the resistance even further. You know, just like when you're making coils, when you wire something in parallel, or just like with your battery, it lowers the resistance and increases the amp capacity. Do I notice any significant benefit to using two MOSFETs? No, but I just wanted to do it. Like I said, I want to do something with this build. So, but you know, so you can say that, yeah, I've got two MOSFETs in there. I know a lot of you can say, yes, it will, you know, that's got a lot of technical knowledge about MOSFETs. Yeah, because, you know, if you use two MOSFETs, you're going to decrease the on resistance and it's going to have a lower voltage drop. That's cool, but as far as me vaping it, there's not really any difference. I haven't really tested the voltage drop on this, but you know, I just, you know, if it's firing good and then vapes good and produces vapor, produces clouds, I'm good with it. I can care less about the voltage drop. I know it fires angrily, so I can say. But yeah, once again, you know, it's just my style, man, as far as these bare copper wires. So if you're not comfortable using bare copper wires on your box mods, just use, you know, regular stranded wires or solid copper wires with the sleeve on it, or insulation. Don't take it off if you don't feel comfortable. So yeah, there you go. Once again, you know, I have these bends right here that goes to the positive of the 510 to act like a spring. So, because basically this is a spring-loaded 510. So, because if you just wire straight up, you know, you're kind of defeating the purpose of having a spring-loaded 510, because that pin is not going anywhere if you just have a straight shot connection. But if you're using stranded wire, obviously you can just kind of and it'll work. But if you're going to be using solid copper wires, then you have to do some kind of bending for it to act like a spring, basically. So you can actually screw down your 510 flush, or screw your Addy flush. Let's see what else. So yeah, again, this is all I have to say about this. So if you have any questions about anything about making a box mod, just let me know. As you all know, I do answer a lot of questions that gets posted on my channel. So just keep it coming. You know, if you need assistance when as far as building a box mod, just let me know. The only thing that I probably won't be able to answer is if you ask me if you can use certain parts. Basically, I can only answer as far as, you know, based on what I've experienced building my own box mods, and as far as specifically what parts I've used. You know, if you ask me if you can use this certain MOSFET, and I can't really answer that because I haven't used it. But as far as the materials I've used, is readily available anywhere. eBay, probably Amazon. I'm not sure. I've never really ordered any parts from Amazon when it comes to box mods. I know I've ordered from Mauser, Newark, mainly eBay. They're readily available. But if you're from overseas, I mean, you can still order from eBay. It might cost you a lot for shipping, but you're still gonna get it, and it might take a while also. So yeah. here it is, fellas, ladies. So as far as the batteries I'm going to be using, it's an M&KE. It does work pretty good. Actually, I bought 2 sets of M&KEs. This one works fine. The other one kind of fires shitty. There's like a long delay and it doesn't fire as hard as this first set that I bought. So those might have been, I don't know what's the issue with those, but so there you have it. I know it's orange, but I think I don't know. I was thinking of getting a different wrap for it, but let's just fire this baby up. I'm gonna be using my Quasar RDA. It's sitting at 0.19. I have a dual coil build using 22 gauge Canthal, 5 wraps on a 2.4 millimeter jewelry screwdriver. Also, another some of the questions that been asked. What's the lowest build you can fire with the box mods that I built? That's gonna depend on basically your batteries, because you know MOSFETs, the amp rating on it is 195 watts, so I don't think you'll even come close to that. But it all depends on your batteries. You know, use the Ohm's law calculator. That will help out. Also, you know, the hardware too. There's some limitations to it. The 510 connector, it's got a plastic insulator on there. So if you build it really low, like below 0.1, you know, 0.07, 0.05, you could melt that. So that's another limiting factor when it comes to these box mods. That's why I can't really answer those unless I've tried it already. So for the box mods that I've built, I've been able to use it as far as the lowest build is 0.1, and no issues with 0.1 builds. You know, with this box mod right here, 0.1, no issues. With this, no issues. Let's just fire this up. I don't want to see how this thing performs. That's enough. Once again, here it is. You know, I've been using this for about a week now and been really happy with it, other than the larger size, because I prefer this smaller one when I'm you know, when I bring it to work. You know, it's a lot easier in the pocket. You can see the difference right there. Ooh, magnets, pretty big difference. Again, this is the 1590G, 1590B, a lot bigger. So yeah, that's all I have for you folks. Once again, I apologize for the delay, but it's here. Once again, thank you for subscribing to my channel, and if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll answer it to the best of my ability. And definitely thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace.